Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Strange Antiquities, as today we settle into lucky day 13, going into our final week of the 18-day campaign too. If ever there was a time for things to really hit the fan, it feels like this would probably be it. Though I mean, who's to say? Aside from Verona being MIA and the whole thing with Bonnie/Barton Potter, they really are kind of keeping things on slow boil, but I suppose we'll find out soon enough. That said, let's follow our dreams. And we already know that today we are looking for 10. For 10 favors the bold. The mark of Jupiter on my map leads me to a square room on the ground floor. Other than an intriguing torn note, there doesn't seem to be anything of interest, until I notice that the bookshelf is mounted on a runner and can slide to one side. I push it and it glides easily, revealing a hidden recess in the wall behind it. Hey, the other half of our note. Also, I do like that design. Honestly, looks kind of familiar. Like the top of a caduceus, perhaps? No, your classic caduceus has the snakes faced towards each other. Textured bronze, prominent, I'm gonna say onyx stone? That's a stone of night. Nothing else notable. We'll just set that aside for now. And let's get a gander at this full note. The castle vaults are blocked by a diurnic seal. It can be opened by any object made from silver or gold that produces a diurnic field. Oh wow, that is way simpler than I thought it would be. I thought it would be another 3-item combo. Also, we still have this, but we're waiting for Barton Potter to get back to us. Right. Okay, so a silver or gold object with a basic diurnic field. Should be simple enough. That right there, that's a diurnic field. The one they straight up ID'd for us. Let's just start grabbing gold objects. Nope. How about you? Hey, there we go. Know I could count on you, Jupiter, too. Alright, so let's go to the vaults. Yes, the castle vaults. The vaults are blocked by a large iron door. It has no handle or keyhole, and it does not give in the slightest when I push against it. I realize that it has been thomically sealed, but that's not much help. It's not clear what I need to open it. I don't know, feels pretty on the nose to me. You want to get into a vault? Call in a cat burglar. Nice. The door slides open without a sound, as though it has been kept well oiled over the years. Behind it, I find a large natural cavern that extends into the rock beneath the castle. Somewhat disappointingly, the walls are lined with racks of whiskey bottles instead of the rows of artifacts that I was picturing. When I show Edmund, he is delighted, and he spends some time examining the dusty shelves. It is not long before he makes a find that I'm surprised I missed. I return to the shop with a spring in my step, and a curious item that demands further study. Ooh, interesting. What is that? Iron and bronze? Yes. 4 symbols, but I feel like that's pretty obvious. That just looks like the 4 seasons, yeah. Summer, spring, fall, winter. So if you go clockwise, it's the order of the seasons. Sharp edges. Nothing else notable. Very intriguing. The Bishop Square is a simple tool of my great-great-grandfather's devising, loosely based on a Briar's disc. By all accounts, he was an impressive man, but it would seem his mind began to fail him at the end. Perhaps he spent too long studying Isaiah. He imagined invisible enemies coming to steal away his most prized possessions, so he began hiding them about the castle, noting their locations in a code that only he understood. Oh, interesting. So it's less a thaumic artifact and more just a straight-up code wheel. Unless it is also innately magic. Bishop Square, Briar's Disc. Also mention of the Zaya, but I think that's just a nod towards an existing artifact that causes paranoia. Definitely has the feel of a code, like a code wheel. Though no real hint as to where or what we're supposed to use it on. Let's check the index. Bishop Square, Briar Disc, and we'll check Zaya too, just for good measure. Zaya, worn about the neck to place them closer to the heart. Yeah, instills fear and paranoia. Nothing that really seems relevant here. So let's hit the index. No Briar's Disc, no Bishop Square. I don't think it's a thaumic device at all. I think it's just a basic tool. Much like the flower key or the random tiles we found for other puzzles. Hey, baby. James Herschel. I can't say too much, but it has fallen on me to carry a secret that people would kill for. That people have killed for. It's a lot of weight to carry around in my head, and it's getting harder to bear around certain family members. It occurred to me that it would be safer in an ecumenical... Ecumenical? That's one of the ones I haven't been able to tentatively ID. An ecumenical is a receptacle, commonly featuring a memento mori, that acts as an aid to recollection. A memory cannot reside in both the mind and the ecumenical at the same time, and it cannot be stored indefinitely. When a memory has been left for long periods, it can begin to emit unpleasant vapors. An empty ecumenical, on the other hand, has an ominous presence, pulling at the threads of one's mind. Okay, so a receptacle with a memento mori. That being a reminder of death. Skull, hourglass, coffin. We've got a few items that might match that description. This, of course, immediately springs to mind, but I'm fairly certain this is a heart chamber, since it visually matches an item hanging around that particular god's neck. The god of strength. No smell or strange tugging at our mind, so I'm going to say that's not it. This is also a memento mori, but I'm going to say this probably isn't either. Yeah, no smell, no sensation. This is a receptacle, and it does bear a memento mori. And it provokes an unpleasant sensation. Right, okay, I'm going to say that's it. Honestly, kind of tricky, since the hourglass, although yes, technically a memento mori, it's definitely one of the tamer ones. And I guess the whole smell thing was just sort of a red herring too, since it didn't end up being relevant. Though I guess, just to be on the safe side, we should check the others. We've got this, which although non-human is definitely still a reminder of death. No smell, no ominous sensation. And then I guess technically we've got this, too. The Hand of Vecna. Yeah, no notable smell, no ominous sensation, even though it really feels like it should have one. Honestly, at this point, I just kind of assume the hand is going to end up being something completely harmless. Classic subversion of expectations. And yes, there's our ecumenical. An hourglass motif on a receptacle that provokes an ominous sensation. No mention of any smells, so that was just a misdirect. Possibly meant to push us towards the spirit vault, which did have a smell, but did not have a memento mori. Shadow Anchor. A shadow anchor is sometimes used in the practice of shadow casting, the art of projecting one's presence outside of the body. Without an anchor, minds have been known to become lost. Shadow anchor designs can vary greatly. Some prefer pendants, whereas others prefer to clutch a totem in their hands. Some make use of symbology, where others use gemstones. They will always produce a field from the individual branch, however. Individual branch? Individual branch of what? I mean, shadow casting implies darkness or night. That immediately makes me think of our snake pendant just off right. But I think it's too vague to bother labeling just yet. Next. Dave! What's the haps, my friend? People are getting restless. The followers of Holgar have been marching through the streets with that crazed priest at their head. Not long ago, that sort of behavior wouldn't have been tolerated in Undermere. Now, there are people joining in. Yeah, strange times, my friend. But don't worry, I'm working on it. Stay safe out there. Let's see what we got. In answer to your question, yes, it is possible to capture a wandering shroud. To the north of town, if you follow the little stream up through the woods, you'll come across a hilltop that was clearly of some ancient significance. It is not uncommon to see wandering shrouds there. Be patient, be still, and they will come. Inappropriate. Your friend, Barton Potter. P.S. I wouldn't have been able to write you this letter if I had died. Not really relevant to your request, but I sure do love being alive. Just thought I'd put that out there. Right. So now we can go grab our wandering shroud. Which I guess would be right here, since that is the only stream running through Undermere. And also is just off the Wyatt Beck, the river that Verona was investigating before she went MIA. Which might just be a coincidence. After a pleasant walk along the beck, I reach a series of grassy mounds. The barrows. Whoever is buried in them must have been important in their time. If I am to collect what I have come for, I will need to be prepared. Which means either the Spirit Vault or the Shield Charm. That is one thing I'm slightly unclear on, whether we're supposed to preemptively protect ourselves or just deploy the trap and assume it will work. But since it's only asking for one object, we'll lead with the vault. Nice. I think. I sit and wait, quietly and patiently, not certain exactly what I am looking for. For some time, nothing happens. And then, long after my mind has drifted toward a warm fire and a hearty supper, I notice a movement in the corner of my eye. A strange, thin mist has formed near one of the barrows. it seems to produce a sort of dark light, a contradiction that my eyes have trouble perceiving clearly. The ethereal creature, for surely this is a creature of some kind, ambles toward the vault that I have left out for this purpose, and I daren't breathe as it slowly nestles itself within the receptacle. Lovely. So it was just that easy. Which I will say is kind of hard to predict because, this is the first, I think, real multi-stage quest they've thrown at us. So, I was spinning my wheels thinking of all the different components that might potentially be required. Though I suppose the best approach is, as always, just to wait until they prompt you and then go from there. Speaking of which... I breathe deeply from the spirit vaults and it clears my mind. I don't care to linger too long down here, but I forge on until I reach the unmistakable Hall of Shields. A stone sarcophagus sits on a raised portion of rock in the center of the cavern. I hold the torch close to better see the inscription on the side of the tomb. It reads, "The sun's light will reveal my gift." Mystified, I cast my eye up to the walls of the cavern and search the shields for some other clue. But nothing stands out. I don't know about that. I mean, we do have the four-petaled flower. We have multiple chevrons. We have... Sun's light. I mean, that immediately makes me think sunstone. We have the sun bond just off right. But the fact this also seems to be like a night motif does also make me think shimmer from the Knight of Thorns. Though Sunbond does feel like it would make more sense just based on the riddle alone. So it is possible that the whole shield motif is yet another misdirect. The flower looks kind of familiar, but... yeah, I mean, that could just be because we've got that Palliant sitting right in front of us. I wonder if we could have actually slotted the Palliants in there, too. Though I think the description when we first came down here explicitly implied it wouldn't work. We'll try the Sunstone. Fingers crossed. Hey, nice. The Sunbond banishes the darkness in an instant, half blinding my gloom-adjusted eyes and bringing summer's warmth to the cold cavern. Blinking and squinting, I notice that one of the shields in particular is glowing in the bright light. I reach up and pull the shield down to reveal a small cavity hewn into the rock behind it. Inside is a blood-red urn. Ooh, more snake motifs. Red clay. Small green gemstones. I'm going to say that's jade, since emerald isn't an option. Ooh, and unsettling. The eyes seem to pierce my soul. Interesting. I like the design. I mean, it is definitely ominous, but I've always been kind of a snake guy. Jade. A stone of earth and of nature. Or possibly malachite. The fourth eye, a stone of sight. No, it specifies green, not dark green, so I'll say jade. This is some sort of pot of earth or nature. Which does make sense. Clay and jade feels like a very classic Eastern combo. Next. James Herschel. Welcome back.
I got to thinking after I left earlier. Transferring the secrets to an ecumenical only adds an extra step. Yes, it's safer than walking around with it in my head, but I would know where to find it. What I really need is a truth conduit, so that I can deceive them into thinking I know nothing at all. I don't know, bud, it's starting to sound like you have a pretty messed up home life. I don't think any of this is going to help. But I do have a truth conduit. Or at least an item I'm fairly certain is our truth conduit. So, you know, best of luck. Yeah, symbol of deception, and a gentle tinkling sound. I think that's my second favorite artifact thus far. Abrasive Meter. This type of meter is used to purge unwanted memories. As with any procedure that can alter the mind, it should be used sparingly and considerately. Meters are typically used in communal ceremonies designed to be easily passed from person to person. Which immediately makes me think the one on top left here, the one with multiple handles, or at least more handles than the other. And we do have an entry for the other one as well. I think that's our Sober Meter? Or Sobering Meter, perhaps? Let's double check the entries real quick. We can probably tentatively tag them both. Solemn Meter. Of the three types of meter, the solemn variety is considered the most powerful. It permits the drinker to forge pathways in the mind, to recall that which has been forgotten, or to repair that which has been broken. It will produce a noticeably stronger thaumic field than the other two types. Right. So the one top right is probably our solemn meter, but let's check that field strength. And that, although still wobbly, is definitely more defined. Yeah, it's got kind of the double lines going on the circles. Right. So this is our solemn meter, which seemed like it was probably pretty safe, but then again, if we hand it to someone like Bonnie, that might be bad news for us. Or I suppose to Mr. What's-His-Face, the weirdo with the murder secret. And then that, of course, is our abrasive meter. Though we'll keep them out here on display until we officially verify. Next. Evelyn Bennett. I have never felt more tired or more devoid of life. An apathy has settled in my bones that I do not seem able to shift. But while I still have breath in my lungs, I will not succumb without a fight. By the grace of Grey, I will find a way forward. The grace of Grey, you say? That does sound kind of familiar. Though nothing coming up on Grey. What about apathy? Man, you really didn't give us a lot to go on here. Devoid of life, tired, apathetic. The grace of Grey capitalized. Not seeing any diseases or curses that specify apathy. What about tiredness? Nightmares and walking hallucinations, yes, but not just weariness in general. Also, these generally look like they would probably have pretty obvious physical symptoms. Tired, devoid of life, apathetic. I mean, we have the We have that one, like, iron statue that you can boil in goat's blood or whatever to restore vigor. Is that what she's referring to? We also have the hand that potentially reverses aging, and the sleep charm, which would help with sleep issues, tiredness, weariness, but not necessarily apathy. What am I missing here? Race of Grey. Alright, well, I'm not sure this is what we're looking for, but we can afford a few missed guesses, so let's give it a shot, I suppose. Alright, Miss Bennett, maybe this cluster of bloody spikes will help? Question mark? Oh, you're also going to need a goat. No, okay, fair enough. I guess. No symptoms. What am I missing here? Alright, you know what? I'm going to have to just start cycling through the book. I'll start with the ones we don't have positive IDs on yet, and just see if anything feels applicable. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay. Right. Gray's Grace. Used to dispel melancholy. Gotcha. She just inverted the name. Here you go, ma'am. Maybe try to get the name right next time. But, you know, hope you feel better. Yeah, that was a tricky one. Mr. Potter, the Relic Hunter. I've had a tip-off about something exciting. Have you come across the so-called nameless gods? Did you also know that the tall stones that you sometimes find in high places were once doorways of a kind? And here's the exciting part. An inscription has appeared on the stone that sits atop Weatherlam. This is where you come in. I'm confident that a pit will open the doorway. The other option is Babelia to read the inscription. But they say that if you read the language of the nameless gods, you become cursed, which I can't say I like the sound of. I'm leaning towards the more direct approach, but then again, that could be dangerous too. Well, Mr. Potter, I've got to say, you know, whilst it is entirely possible that deciphering runes of unknown gods may indeed be dangerous, I'm going to say opening a door to the unknown is probably slightly more dangerous. Especially considering that we are just fresh off Strange Horticulture, where cultists tried to summon an eldritch servant to conquer the world, so, you know. Let's maybe try our luck with the Babelia, which resembles a Mentic field, but does not produce a Mentic field. No other real clues as to its appearance. Okay, so obviously we need to find what a Mentic field looks like. Let's check the book. Mentic. Oh, the individual branch. Okay, so Mentic and Wixic are individual. Gotcha. That'll be important for one of the other ones. But for Mentic specifically, we are looking at medium up top, small at bottom. Oh, there we go. Okay, so like a curvy hashtag. Ah, which is this one right here.
Yeah, I've been wondering about this one. We've had this one for quite a while. Nothing else jumping out at me, so I think that is our Babelia. Let's just make sure it doesn't also have a Mantic pattern. Nope, that's a Diurnic. Okay, right. And no pattern at all on this thing, the code square. So that is just a tool, not an actual magic artifact. Potter, here's your Babelia. Stay safe out there, bud. Stay out of trouble. I mean, you won't, but... Thank you. I hope this works. Here's a token of my appreciation. Something for you to ponder over. Great, thanks. Interesting. Ah, an end of day. Alright, let's get a gander at this thing. A yellow six-sided sandstone pillar. Engraved. Crumbly texture. Nothing else of note. Let's... Well, first let's get this set aside. And then we'll look up those symbols. Triangle, which I believe is heat. But then also something else. Yeah, triangle, I believe we've already established. But I am less certain about the circle with, like, the 4 lines. Okay, fire, not heat. But then also, wax. So fire and wax, interesting. On a sandstone hexagonal pillar. Not really sure what to make of that one. Farewell, Truth Conduit. I'll miss you. Almost kind of tempted to put that one next to the Moonstone Guardian. I like it enough that I sorta kinda like to keep it in view. Maybe I'll clear a shelf just for my favorite artifacts. But for now, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything we can do with the Bishop Square at the moment. Might be some, like, riddles or something hidden in the margins of the castle map. But that'll be something to pore over off-screen. Let's get some rest. End of day 13. With dreams of earning his fortune long banished from his mind, the man brought the casket to a trusted friend, the curator of the museum in Undermere. Together, they looked for answers. Right. Eli's brother. Also, no real hit-the-fan moment today. Unexpected, considering we've only got, I think, 4 days left on the clock. Sword wrapped in thorns immediately makes me think Knight of Thorns. We specifically have an entry about the Knight of Thorns. That's the shimmer. Do we have an obvious Knight of Thorn tomb? Something thorn and or perhaps knight themed? I mean, there are multiple knights. This one, Hall of Shields. Top right. Not sure if any of them are more thorny than others, though. And obviously, we've already cleared the Hall of Shields. So unless I'm missing something, it really just kind of comes down to those two. The Flower Knight or the one on top right. really seeing any matching decorations here. We do have tiny flowers on the belts, but they've got a different number of petals. That's like 8. Oh, date of death, 1356. Yeah. Okay, top right. See the one here, the flower, that's just a misdirect. It's definitely the one on top right, since that matches the date of death for the knight who bore the shimmer. But as per usual, we'll hold off on that for now. That'll be for next time. And as for the plot, man, yeah, they really are slow boiling this. Maybe it is entirely possible we might have been able to... Oh, also, just realized the flower on the bottom right here matches the one in the Hall of Shields. Sort of. Might just be coincidence. But yeah, I mean, maybe if we'd made some more aggressive decisions with various choice points, we would be getting a bit more excitement now, a bit more of an obvious wind-up towards some cataclysmic climax. But as it stands right now, things, aside from Verona's disappearance, things feel pretty quiet. Like we don't even have a clear idea who our villain is yet. Though it's starting to seem like it's probably going to be the curator, whom we've only met the one time. And we don't seem to have the location that Barton Potter mentioned on our map. At least not in the key. I am honestly not sure where this is going. But that said, won't be too much longer before we find out. Just 4 more days to play with. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I will follow up on a few clues. Won't actually resolve anything. I'm just going to kind of poke around, look for clues, see if I can find a use for that bishop square, etc. And we will pick up here next time. 4 more days. 4 more days. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to NearEV23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Thomas Pietkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.